All right, hello everybody, and welcome back into the TnT podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm Ted.
All right, and this week we will be going over the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Mr. Joe Biden. So the way we're going to set this up, we're just going to go section by section, topic by topic, and just discuss what they said, our opinions on it, stuff like that. So the first topic is going to be the Supreme Court, which I think we all, with the passing of Justice Ginsburg, figured this was going to be a big topic that they were going to talk about first thing. So Trump started off by saying he has the constitutional right to replace someone on that court, which that I do agree with. I mean, he is still the sitting president.
Yeah.
But for me, the way I look at it, in 2016, it was around 6 months before that election, and one of the Supreme Court justices...
Wasn't that Scalia? Antonin Scalia?
I think so, but I'm not sure. He retired. So Obama, being the current president, was trying to replace him. And the Republican-controlled Senate said no, they should wait till the next president. Fast forward 4 years, and there's an empty seat, 2 months before the election.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going back on their word. Like, if Trump is reelected, then there you go.
Yeah.
He can choose the Supreme Court justice.
Right.
But just like Republicans did in 2016, they should honor their word now and wait till the next president.
Right.
And if it is Trump, fine. Then he can name the justice and that'll be that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, do you have any...
The thing is, though, is I do agree with him on that statement where he's still the president, obviously, and it should have been Obama's decision back in 2016, too, because he was still the president during that time.
Yep.
So that's one thing I, agree with him on that, but they should have done it for that at that time. So that's just my opinion. He's still in power, still the president, so
Yeah.
he still should have that authority to choose.
I definitely agree if that didn't happen before the last election.
Then, yeah.
That's, I don't know, it's kind of sus. All right, I didn't have, for people watching on YouTube, I have a page of notes, that's why I'm looking this way. But, so next obvious topic is COVID-19, which obviously is still a big part of our lives in one way or another. So you want to start this one off?
Well, I know obviously Biden went after Trump for his handling of COVID and all that. So honestly, you never know what Biden would have done during that time. And Trump basically said, like, what would you have done? Like, what was your thing? Like, obviously, at the time, we didn't know how bad this was going to be. There were so many multiple reports about it, like how the WHO was like, oh, it's not transmittable. Then they backtracked on their word and saying, oh, yeah, it is.
It's a new disease to humans, so no one knew.
So it's honestly, you couldn't really stop it. I mean, no one really knew the information about it. So it's like you want to keep going because obviously you don't know what that could have brought. No one knew. No one had any idea. So that, in Trump's defense, how would he have known? Obviously, the way he said things wasn't the best, but I know when something new happens, you just try to hope for it to not.
Saying Biden did bring this up that Trump tried to downplay how serious it was when he knew how serious it was. So that, I think, was a good point made by Biden that, the president says he didn't want to panic anyone, but because of that, more people could be dead.
Yeah.
If the general public was told how serious it was, more people could be alive today.
Yeah.
Or it could not. You don't know.
We don't. Yeah.
But
it's just one of those things.
Take your phone off there, because they're gonna hear it. Yeah. So more about coronavirus. Joe kept saying how Trump has no plan. Then there's the vaccine.
Yeah, that topic obviously was brought up, and I know Trump said it'd be months from now.
Yeah, he's saying, oh, we could have it by November. We could have it by the end of the year. And then there's these top officials saying that, oh, it's not going to be readily available to the general public until middle of next year. And then Trump disagrees with that. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know when we're going to get it.
He's like, but that's where the conspiracy theory of the election day, where that comes around, where like, you know, it proves around that conspiracy theory of holding back the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Because that conspiracy theory. So. No, I'm just telling you what people think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to think like, oh, they're going to hold it back until the election to see who wins. You know, that was just the one thing that caught my attention, that people might think that might be.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because what does that solve?
It doesn't solve anything, but it's just the idea that, you know, some people could have and say, you know, that's that.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Neither do I, but I'm just saying that's just an idea that could come across some people's minds.
Yeah. Trump also then said that, oh, Biden would have closed our country 2 months later than he did. And he literally called Biden. He said, you smart, didn't you graduate at the bottom of your class? I was like, geez, dude, chill.
Well, there was a thing I looked up, and a part of that, well, he said he went to Delaware State, but he went to UDel. And so he got his college wrong. And then he, I looked up a thing where that statement was actually true. He wasn't the lowest in his class, but he was in the bottom half. So, but I gotta say though, the way he said that question was kind of pretty funny in his tone. He was like, "Did you use the word smart?"
Yeah, that was. He's been a little bit of a jokester there.
Yeah.
And Trump did say he thinks masks are okay.
Yeah, because he's like,
and that was he also said social distancing. I think that's the first time I've heard him say that.
Mm-hmm. Well, he pulled out his mask. He's like, yeah, I got one right here.
Yep. Now on to the economy.
This is where I agree with Trump with what he said. It's like, you can't keep the economy closed forever, because people are going to, you know, like he brought up a really good point about the alcoholism, the, you know, addiction, depression, all that. I agree 100%, because people are going to be in their homes and they're going to be so depressed because they won't have enough money to support their families.
Or just can't go around people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it would lead to. And he has a very good point with that.
No, I definitely agree there. He again called it the China plague.
Yeah.
And he says Biden will shut down the entire country again. Then to Joe, you know, he made the point that Trump would be the first president to leave office with less jobs. Which, yes, that would be true, but
you gotta put
coronavirus. I mean.
Yeah. But before COVID, the economy was doing pretty darn well.
Yeah, Trump was handed a good economy, and he did make it better.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. But then he did call Trump the worst president America's ever had.
And then
I was like, geez, roast much. Shut up, man.
Then he called him a clown too.
Yeah. He's a clown. Oh, excuse me, man. I was like, dude, this guy's roasting him.
Yeah, he's trying to fire back his shots, but I'm like, man, Trump's got more words, more nicknames for you than that. So you got to come up with some better.
But the shut up, man, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
There was a thing on, sorry to go a little off topic here, but it was really funny. I saw these little things on Instagram. It was like the debate drinking game.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Every time Joe says, here's the deal, every time Trump says Sleepy Joe or something.
Or the China virus or something like that. That you're supposed to take like a sip or a shot or something like that. So it was really cool. Really funny. But anyway.
Oh, your thought ended seriously abruptly. Oh my god. Alright, but then next we'll move on to the race issue in our country right now. They did both talk a lot about this. I think the first obvious point that we have to say is Trump did not condemn white supremacy. And he told the one group to stand by.
Yeah, that was not good. That really.
It's not like he just didn't hear the question. He was asked it like twice.
Yeah.
He was asked it twice, and he did not condemn white supremacy. Which that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because that is obviously a huge problem in our country, which...
And I have some very choice words for those people. Very big choice of words that can I use on this podcast. Especially the far right and the far left. And I always say this wrong, but Antifa, and I said it right this time.
Yeah, Joe did talk about that. He says it's an idea, not a group. That's what Joe said.
I don't believe that. That's something I disagree with him with that. It's a group. Why they're Antifa's the one that are rioting and destroying businesses. So, you know, that one you
don't know about that one, buddy.
Listen,
it's people from all sides. It's not one group or the other. It's a mix.
I know. But listen, both sides are bad. And I'm not saying one side's worse than the other, but you know, taking advantage of a bad situation and trying to make it a gain for your own, it's not the message you're trying to send. That's just me.
Yeah, because that they did talk about the rioting. You know, Trump kept telling Joe Biden, be like, "Oh, say law and order, say in law and order," and Biden said law and order and justice. That, you know, the people rioting should be prosecuted, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I mean, you're vandalizing businesses and you're destroying them. You know, that's a criminal offense in itself.
And then Joe also brought up the point that Trump had a peaceful protest tear gassed in front of the White House so he could walk over to a church.
Yeah,
that wasn't good.
No,
because obviously, if it was a riot, then
100%. Then,
but
you know,
these were 100% peaceful protesters, and you had them all tear gassed just so he could take a walk.
Yeah,
that wasn't a good look.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and Biden made the point that, you know, obviously not all cops are bad, but the ones that are,
I know he brought up the bad apples.
Yeah,
I know he brought.
They need to be dealt with. They need, you know, to properly be able to, you know, do something about it.
Which I agree
before
with him.
a tragedy would happen.
I agree with him with that. I mean, yes, there are some bad apples out there that abuse the badge and abuse their authority. You know, that it's unfortunate. You know, what they just it doesn't matter like if they're targeting somebody or whatnot. They're just it could be from, you know, could be from not stopping at a red light where they just turn the lights on, because I've seen that before where
they're at a red light, they flip their lights on, speed through it, then turn them off and go normal speed limit.
Yeah.
We've seen that all the time.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like some of them just abuse the power and it's not right for them to do so.
No.
So I've gotten that before. They turned the lights on behind me thinking I'm getting pulled over, but I moved, so I went to the side and he just went past and turned his lights off.
Yep.
So I was like, okay.
Going too slow.
Must have been. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Just the abuse of power needs to be condemned.
Yep. You know, Trump also said that almost all law enforcement agencies support him, and he thinks the violence is a political problem. You know, Trump says it's all the far left. Biden will say it's all the far right.
Well, it's a mixture. I mean,
exactly.
It's
not
a mixture of both. Huh?
You know, because Trump was saying that it's all Democratic-run cities. Then Biden made the point, no. You know, there are some Republican.
I know he brought up Tulsa.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah.
I didn't write down the exact cities either of them mentioned, but you know, it's just a major problem that needs to be fixed.
The one thing that I heard was when Chris Wallace asked Biden, "Did you talk to any of the Democratic mayors of these cities?"
Yeah, that was one thing where, you know, he didn't say yes or no, but if he didn't say yes, it means he didn't. He should have.
Honestly, yeah.
He said, he made the point that, oh, I'm not in public office. I'm like, yeah, but you're running to be.
Which it would be great if you told them, like, listen, this is
what I think you should do.
Yeah.
And
because then that shows leadership and that can show quality for you to potentially become president.
Even if he wasn't running for president, just as being the former vice president, you still have a level of influence.
Yeah. And you were VP to a very influential figure,
mm-hmm.
you know? So I think he should have said something. Like, say, listen, like you said, you know, this is what I think you guys should do, and this is how you do it. That shows leadership, and that can show support for your end, for your run.
Yeah.
But he didn't, and I think that was a big missed opportunity for him to gain support.
I agree. And the next section we will go over is why you should be elected over your opponent. We'll start with Joe. He made a couple points that under Trump that we as a country have become weaker. He also said Trump is Putin's puppy. And he also brought up the point that Trump still hasn't said anything to Russia about the bounty that they placed on American troops.
Oh, yeah, that was a little, yeah.
Also says billionaires have gotten richer.
That's a fact. That's actually true.
Yeah, during coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
that the rich have gotten richer and the poor have gotten poorer.
It's a fair point.
It is. And he said there was 15% less violence during the Obama administration.
But it was still in that little timeline where stuff happened, they still protested, but not as severely as now. Which I'm saying, like, you know, in Baltimore with Freddie Gray and Ferguson. I forgot the person's name, which I should know, but Eric Gardner. Just the other ones. Trayvon Martin.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of other ones that happened during that administration that really weren't. I don't remember them saying or addressing that much during that time. I don't remember if Obama really said anything.
I'm sure he did. So remember, we were also younger then.
Yeah, but I'm sure he probably
we weren't paying as much attention.
Yeah.
But down to what Trump said, you know, he, like he always says, that he's done more for our country than any other president in history. You know, the fact that we're rebuilding the economy now. Like, yeah, we were at the best economy ever. Then coronavirus came in and said, you know, psych. And then now we're rebuilding it. Which is true. The economy is bouncing back faster than
expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good. I mean, I think that really helps. I'm glad it's bouncing back because obviously went through such a crazy couple months there where the unemployment rate is actually dropping pretty quickly. Then, you know, like,
people are finally able to get back to work, you know, assuming there's no second wind or anything where more of the country has to shut down or anything like that. I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
People are embracing it now. People are actually getting prepared for it now. I feel like it's going to be a lot more smoother. Even if it does happen, I feel like companies are going to be prepared for it, you know?
Yeah, because they already have the working from home. They have, you know, most companies where it's possible, they more than likely already have done it or know how to.
Yeah. You know, that's, I mean, our thoughts on that, we, you know, obviously save that for another time, but, you know, but
yeah, we've done
plenty of those episodes, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the economy is growing, and it's good to see because obviously a lot of us were unemployed for a long time, including myself, and it was tough.
I'm still at Walmart.
Yeah. It just was tough trying to get by, and then obviously unemployment rates, you know, all that was going on, which was very, very big help. So it just feels good to actually finally kind of start to work again a little bit. So it feels pretty good. It feels a little bit somewhat normal again, even though it's still...
We're getting there. Us in New Jersey, we're able to eat inside now, which never thought I'd have to say is it feels weird too. After months of not eating anywhere, and then we were finally able to have outdoor dining. Now that it's at 25% capacity, but still it's something.
It'll probably grow once
assuming cases don't go up, then I'm sure they'll increase how many people can. And all right. So move on to the next topic, which is climate change, which obviously looking at California, all the fires, and then all the hurricanes we've had over here.
Or that clock in Manhattan, that one where they put up like the amount of years left until...
it's counting down.
Yeah.
So this one will start with President Trump. He didn't say that he believes in climate change, but the point he kept driving home was the need for forest management, like over in California. that, there's so many dead trees that are years old that are like tinder. The one spark and the entire forest will ignite. Which, if that's true, that is a fair point.
Yeah.
That could definitely contribute. Get all this dead brush, dead trees out of there, and it'll have a harder time catching.
Yeah, because obviously they went through somewhat of a little drought for a while. I know that, but he's right though. I mean, dead trees get because we use dead trees for fires.
Yeah, it's like tinder. It'll someone throws a cigarette out there and
it's gonna ignite in seconds.
Yep.
So yes, and they have to do something about that, and I agree with him on that because it's going to spread, and all these thousands of people that are going to be without their homes are it's in response to all these dead trees that are there.
Yeah. Trump also goes on to say that everything we have to do everything we can to make sure we have clean water and clean air, and that he's all for electric cars. Those are the main points.
That's going to be down. Well, I mean, obviously Tesla's been revolutionizing the car industry.
My dream car.
Yeah, with electric. And honestly,
David Dobrik, please.
Yeah, I mean, electricity like that is starting to finally evolve over time because Tesla wasn't big until maybe last year, 2 years ago when they started to put out their models.
They've been around for a little bit now, but it was really when they started introducing their more affordable models. I think the Model 3 is, what is it, $36,000 or something around there.
Okay.
It's obviously before taxes, which is gonna.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's still evolving.
Down the line, they'll get cheaper.
Over. Yeah,
it probably will.
It probably will because then gas. I mean, then gas could be conserved. Think about that.
Gas can be used elsewhere, not
in cars.
Yep.
And think about how much gas we all put in our cars.
Say just me and you in general, just me and you. We'll fill up our car every week and a half or so.
Yeah, depending on where we're going. Usually,
depending on how much we drive, of course, all that. But give or take, it's like a week and a half.
2 weeks, yeah.
So that's just 2 people.
Yeah.
That get gallons of gas into their car. So when you put it grand scheme of things, millions and millions of people, it's a lot.
Even billions, across the world.
Yeah, I was talking generally about the United States alone. That's not even the entire world.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But then on to Joe Biden. He was saying how we need new infrastructure, we need clean energy. If he becomes president, he will rejoin the Paris Accord. He wants to build energy efficient homes. And he's saying his climate plan will create millions of jobs. So.
I'm just wondering how what jobs in that area can he create? That's the only thing I can think of for that statement.
I haven't looked over his plan, so I don't want to say anything misleading. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know there.
So let's see if he does become president. I guess we could see where it goes from there. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
The final topic they brought up was election integrity. Because obviously Trump has never really said. Obviously, Trump has never really said that, if he loses, he's going to accept it, peaceful transfer of power. He really went to say the opposite. So that's where, the Senate Majority Leader McConnell, he had to step in and say, whoever wins the next election will become president on January 20th. So regardless who it is, that was actually, we had an idea to make that an episode, which we still might, that what if Trump refuses to concede the election? What would happen? Which is definitely, if you guys don't know, I definitely would look it up because it's actually very interesting on, the steps they have to go through, Congress, Supreme Court. It's very interesting. I think you guys should definitely look that up. Trump brought up a lot that the ballots are a disaster, the election is going to be a fraud. And he said he counts on the Supreme Court to look at the ballots, and he urges his supporters to watch carefully And he's on board for if it's a fair election. He would be on board. Joe Biden made the point, there's no evidence of mail-in fraud. He said simply he will accept the results. Because another question was, basically you're not going to say you won until the election has been independently certified. Trump went on a rant. Biden said, yes. Yeah, he'll accept the results. And he even made, as a point of unity, that he's not just going to be a president for Democrats. He's going to be a president for Republicans as well. Which I think is a good point to say. Try to bring people more together. So that's pretty much all my notes there. So Ted, debate as a whole, what do you think?
Well,
explosive.
Well, it was something to watch. I mean,
that's to say the least.
Yes. I mean, to keep it like this, I mean, it got out of hand sometimes. I mean, Wallace was like trying to keep control of it, but it was not.
It was bad. Trump, Biden interrupted Trump a couple times, but not nearly as much as Trump interrupted Biden. It was, he wouldn't let Biden talk. That's basically it. At one point, Wallace kept trying to, Mr. President. Like, it is his 2 minutes. Your campaign agreed to these terms. And then I think it was Trump that said it, like, oh, am I debating you or am I debating him?
Yeah. Because a lot of people are arguing that, like, Trump was going against both of them, in a sense. That's where that's what I think his supporters said that, and it felt like he was, like, on a 2-on-1. And it felt like he was debating Wallace and Biden at the same time.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was explosive, and the Commission for Presidential Debates did come out and say, I believe it was either today or last night, that they are going to make some changes to make them more orderly and not just a chaotic mess.
Right.
Because, honestly, with this debate, I don't see that anybody really won it.
No, it wasn't. I think...
Like, there's no clear, oh, this person, boom.
Yeah, no one really did. I mean, obviously, I'm actually intrigued in the VP debates because they're probably not gonna be like that.
No, because I feel Pence is a lot quieter.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those two at least respect each other.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll get heated at some point. It's a debate, but it's not going to be as explosive. So I think there's more of a mutual respect there, whereas Trump and Biden, they obviously don't like each other. Yeah. I think that's very clear.
I feel like Pence is going to be more respectful in the way, like, he's going to be like, okay, 2 minutes, go ahead, and then I'd say mine, and then...
Yes, that'll definitely be interesting to watch.
Because he has experience with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's done it, like, he was a governor, I believe, of Indiana for a while. So, like, he's done things over there, and same thing with, Harris, it's going to be the same thing. So, it'll be interesting to see. And
we're not sure if we're going to do a full episode on that or if we're going to do it as, like, a bonus episode. So, make sure you follow us over on Twitter for that. And any final thoughts?
It'll be interesting to see what these next two debates hold.
So obviously next week we have the VP, and then after that will be the second, and then the final debate before the election next month.
Yeah. So
it's a month away.
Definitely I know the first one was a little chaotic, but definitely keep an eye on it.
Hopefully next time they'll let each other speak.
Yeah.
Because when they're both screaming and yelling, like, you're like, who do I
listen to?
Who do I listen to?
Yeah. So it's like, you have to like you just did. You gotta
you gotta look back at
your head back and forth, like, what's going on? Huh? Gonna make yourself dizzy after a while.
Since then, not only is it so you can focus on one person, then it's, if I'm an undecided voter, I can hear his points and hear his.
Yeah.
It's not hearing them both at the same time, seeing them both screaming, yelling at each other. Like, no, you want to hear both of their ideologies on whatever the topic is.
Right.
So it's definitely an interesting watch. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter for any updates. Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we live stream all the time on Twitch, which is TnT Podcast Live. So with that said, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. If you have any thoughts, you agree, disagree with us on our views on this debate, please let us know on any of our socials. And with that said, I guess we will see you guys next week.
Peace, guys.